Hi guys, it's Shauna. I think what I want to say today is probably one of the most important things I've ever shared. I've been listening to David Hawkins, whose work I love, and he is a pioneer in the field of consciousness, human consciousness. And if you've read any of his books, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Listen to his lectures. He's really not a person anymore. He's just consciousness, and he stayed with us for to share what he has learned as he ascended through the levels of consciousness himself. And having gone through some of this, I resonate with his work so much, and my life of late is experiential proof of what he's talking about. And David Hawkins, it's his work is science-based. He studied this. It's fascinating. And what I want to share is a few things, but one would be why grief and joy are not mutually exclusive. Because I think people sometimes expect that grief is eclipses joy, but it doesn't. It doesn't have to. Not when you've gotten rid of, is gotten a word? Probably not. I'm using it. The patterns that keep you thinking that things should be a certain way, and you know what you really are. And so that is what I want to share today, because it's powerful, powerful. You can see the smile on my face. It is genuine. I am joy. I am love. And I know this. I know this through the worst of times, like losing my mom a week and 2 days ago. And this is why I want to share this at this time, because as you can see, this is experiential proof. There is no part of me that is not profoundly sad right now, because my mom isn't here with me anymore. Physically, we were so close and had gotten much, much closer even in the weeks and days that led up to her leaving this world. And to say that I am devastated is the understatement of the century. I could cry right now, but I'm not going to. I've cried more in the past week than I've cried in my lifetime. And I've been through loss. But this is why I'm here, holding up my phone and my arms hurting, to share this with you, because grief is just an emotion, and grief and joy are both love in action. Grief is, as my beautiful, wonderful father says, the price we pay for having loved. And joy is love experientially. It's life force bubbling up in us. And when David Hawkins talks about this, he was talking about it today in a lecture that I was listening to, and I was just jumping up and down with glee, because the way that he articulated it was exactly correct as to how I've experienced it. So there are levels of consciousness, and we each live in these strata in terms of what our thought patterns are, our habitual thought patterns. But when you break out of that and you get out of the thought patterns, there's nothing left but joy and consciousness. And all of these words are the same: beauty, joy, love, truth, life, light, joy. They're all the same thing. And you can feel them because you are them. So when you're here in this space, that concept of self-love, oh, I should love myself more. I see people saying things like that. It doesn't make any sense anymore, because you are love. And this is what my mom, I'm realizing, taught me by her example in this world, to just be love. And I've come to that already. And listening to David Hawkins talking about when you finally just lose all the thoughts and you're just consciousness. A lot of people talk about this. Eckhart Tolle talks about it. Lots of people have experienced this. But for those of you who haven't, this is why I'm sharing it, because you can see through my face and my essence and my energy here how powerful this is in the face of anything that can show up circumstantially in your life. It is so powerful. I've posted so many times about how powerful love is. And it's just words until you experience it. It is what does Matt Kahn say, the most magnificent consciousness in the world, or the most masterful, I think was what he said. I love that. It's so true. The calmness and the river of love that runs in behind everything is so powerful and deep and wide and beautiful. It sustains us once we are there. And this is what I want to share with you, because the world needs us, you, to ascend into this space, because all of us can do this. We're just stuck in levels of consciousness. So if you haven't read David Hawkins' work, I highly, highly recommend it. Power versus Force is an older one, but also Surrender, the Pathway to something, something. I don't even know what it is. I have the book right here. Hold on. Just a second. All right, let's see. Letting Go, the Pathway to Surrender. Yes. So surrendering to whatever feelings are coming up is so powerful instead of resisting. And so this is another thing that I wanted to share. Grief is often an outlet for many things that have been held in the body over years and years and years, sometimes since childhood. And so a death or a divorce or any sort of what would seem like an adverse circumstance or happening in life, you may notice that you're not only just feeling the grief of that moment and the loss, but also this overpowering negative emotion that feels very hard to take, very hard to bear, very hard to process. And that's because your body and your psyche use that catalyst, that happening, as an opening to release a lot of the pressure of these negative sort of thought patterns you've had in your cells since you were a kid, probably. And so it does threaten to overwhelm. That's how it feels. And bear with me as I'm just thinking that what I want to share with you. So it's a beautiful opportunity to release things that aren't even related to the thing that happened. The next level up in that is, if you've done all of that releasing and you're not resisting the feelings, you're not resisting what's happening, then you can have this joy, this abiding joy and love through everything that happens. And the world needs that. We need you in love. Love heals everything. Look at this state that I'm in. It's pure love. It's so amazing. And listening to David talk about it, and how when you get to this, the world is so beautiful. It's spectacularly beautiful. When you see me jumping or dancing, or like a little kid just like, I'm looking out my window, and it's so staggeringly beautiful, because everything looks like that when you're in this space. And it's actually hard to function in the real world, in the 3D world, because you're just in awe and gratitude constantly. And so then the challenge becomes navigating 3D, so to speak, the world of structure, the world of physical reality and money and all of that stuff, while just wanting to be in bliss and love and appreciating every moment. So it's quite an interesting challenge to be feeling this and function in the world. And I'm still learning that. I'm still on that trajectory in terms of how do I marry all of this with work and with, needing to have food and nourish myself, my physical body. And it's just a fascinating journey, and it's a consciousness journey. It's a consciousness conversation. And I want to share this with you, as I said today, because through my deepest grief, which is an emotion, I am being love, joy, gratitude, peace. And those are not feelings. They are states of being. And I contend, and as does David Hawkins, that these are our natural state. Love is our natural state, which has been obscured by layers and layers and layers of thought patterns and beliefs and decisions we've made. And once you start going through the inner work and the inner journey of letting all of those go, there is nothing you cannot handle with a state of grace. And this is my wish for you, and it's my wish for all of the humans on this planet, because that's what we need. We need love. We need aloha. which is love. That's all for today.